ese lunar que tienes, cielito lindo, junto a la boca. No se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo, que a mí me toca. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Ay, 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 canta.
All right, everybody, what's up? It's Action Jack, Crazy Indian. Hey, yo, we gonna do some, take off my glasses, I don't like that flare, that glare. Alright, we gonna do some, I'm gonna learn y'all something, alright? I'm on this site, Paper Genocide. This is a site, like, that deals with a lot of Native American, Indian, Aboriginal stuff, alright? A lot of y'all be doing that, DNA stuff, and I be telling y'all that Ancestry.com and on DNA, they gonna always put you in Africa. Number one, I should be able to send my DNA to this company and they should be able to tell me who I am. I shouldn't have to put down what race I consider myself. I mean, y'all spending all this money and the first thing these places ask you is like, what race are you or what do you consider yourself or whatever, right? So of course if you put down you African American or whatever, they don't want you to know that you Indian. They don't want you to know that you're American Indian. So they're gonna put down that you from freaking Benin, you know, the homie, and all of that stuff over there, Ghana and Africa or whatever. And there was I'm gonna find that YouTube video. I'm gonna try to do it before I get done with this investigation or whatever. But there was a dude, an African dude, and he didn't put down what, and he went to like one of them DNA sites or whatever, and he put down that he was like some other African group, and they to see if they would get his match right, and they put him on some whatever country he was from. It wasn't what the DNA people said. He said that he was like African American or some shit. I think he was from like East Africa or whatever, and they put him in West Africa. These places lie. They just take your money and lie to you. Then they get money from the government to do so. So let's read over this drink real quick. All right. Hold on. It says, though DNA testing for race has some good points for seeking native to native similarities, matches, especially similarities based on regions, since we all don't exactly look alike, DNA testing for race has more speculative results when comparing us Indians to the rest of the world. And some of us will come up with black, white, Australoid, which we really are. We're really like Austro-Asians. That's why we always call ourselves the Asiatic black man. But that's for another day or whatever. Or Asian markers when comparing markers like hair, genes, melanin genes, hair color genes, eye color genes, archaic genes, and things like genes for diabetes, high blood pressure, cancers, intelligence, and other traits found statistically in many populations, right? Case in point, people from the Oceania region are not black African. Example, I think it's called the Ite people of the Philippines, and I'm gonna find a picture to put up over here, are Austro-Malaysians, which includes other groups such as Aborigines in Australia, Papuans, that's Papua New Guinea if you don't know, and Melanesians of the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, and the French overseas collectivity of New Caledonia. The Aita, or Aita, AGTA, are indigenous people who live in the scattered, isolated mountainous regions, parts of the island of Luzon in the Philippines. They used to be scattered throughout the whole Philippines, but the Mongols, who now call themselves the Han Chinese or whatever, the Mongols, that they when they came to the island, just like every other non-melanated people or whatever, or low melanated people, they always kill off the indigenous population of especially on islands and stuff. They are thought to be among the earliest inhabitants of the Philippines, and though they have similar physical traits or phenotype as black Africans, such as skin color and hair texture. They are not black Africans genetically, just like some of our Native American people who have some physical traits that are somewhat similar and not exactly the same by any means to the black African, the Asian, the Australoid, and even the Caucasian. Alright? Genealogy through research should be trusted above DNA testing for race, at least until they test honest comparison groups other than Maya, the Pima, etc. And the Pimas look like us, man. They like, I'll show y'all a picture of the Pimas. I use the Pimas all the time because they have like dreadlocks, yo. I live out here in Arizona and Phoenix. This is Pima territory. You know, they built the canals out here and all of that. And they look completely different than the people who run around here calling themselves the natives of this land or the indigenous of this area right here. All right, etc. And start using DNA samples from the Sioux, Saponi, which my wife is. My wife's a Saponi from Virginia. Cherokee, Tuscarora, Chickahomie, Pequot, and Taino, which me and my wife both have in us because we're both, you know, part Puerto Rican. We both have Puerto Rican blood in us, so we have Taino in us too. And it's a little confusing on who the Tainos are either, you know, because we might just be Caribs or Arawak, which we probably have that blood in us because it has to be a mixed group of Indians or whatever. You know, because some of the Arawaks and Caribs say that the Taino are not native to the or indigenous to the islands. You know, so don't rely on DNA testing for race with so little groups of Indians to compare DNA to, especially when we all, based on region, have different traits. All right. It is nearly impossible to draw a 100% conclusion on race based on DNA, since we all are part of the human species first, then our cultural races and regional locations second. You would have better odds hitting the lottery than guessing race at 100% based on the current DNA testing for Indian ancestry, because it does not test exclusively native to native. This is exactly why tribes refuse to enroll based on non-American Indian haplogroup alone. They prefer ancestral connections by tribal affiliation through ancestors, not through current biological studies that do not connect our people to any known native ancestors just in the Americas, because DNA tests alone, tests done today do not have any category for just Native Americans without forcing a theorized connection to the Outer Africa theory. Now, see, a lot of y'all really believe in this Outer Africa theory. And I'm gonna have to go into this joint like really hard, because y'all need to know who started the Outer Africa theory and why. And you need to know what else that dude started. Outer Africa was like brought to you by, Charles Darwin. And homeboy, now they try to make Charles Darwin seem like he was some good guy or whatever. He was a staunch racist, yo. A lot of them scientists back then that was doing all these projects and stuff, they were staunch racists, man. And they a lot of their testing was just to see how they can justify, so-called black or the Negro in America or whatever as being inferior, or the Negro or Aborigine races around the freaking world as being inferior and stuff like that. And there used to be human zoos, yo, where they put Aboriginals from around the world, Africans, and even freaking African, so-called African Americans, American Aborigines in these zoos as as different species of people. And this is after Darwin, who gave you the Outer Africa theory, did this shit. And when you agree to the Outer Africa theory, it's not only is it you give the white people a chance or a glimpse, a glimmer of hope, or a glimmer of maybe there might be fact that they originated in other places other than Europe, all right? That they're not just a mix of Africans who came from Africa into Europe, or the European Aborigines who they wiped out half of them and the other half escaped to India. That's why they was always obsessed with India. Well, not India, because it's really Hindustan and Calcutta and all of that. But over there, what we know as India today, that country, most of them people over there are European Aborigines, all right, mixed with the Europeans who came back over there, the British. So we really got to understand that, all right? And that place wasn't called India until after like 1940 something, 1949 or whatever. Before then, it had a whole bunch of colony names. And before the colonists went over there, or the English went over there, it was freaking Hindustan. Those are Hindu people, all right? And you can look this up. Go type in Hindustan. You think I'm be making this stuff up, yo? Yeah, you gotta really start to know history. A lot of y'all be talking smack because black people are so damn emotional. A lot of y'all be talking smack and y'all don't even study nothing. You know, the whole thing is true when they say if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a goddamn book, man. Don't put it in a music video. You know what I'm saying? Don't put it in a trashy ass reality show. You know, don't put it in that. But if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a goddamn book. You know, because a lot of people be talking crap up on here based on feelings. Because who told you that you was African? No disrespect to Africans, but who told you was African? The same people who promised you 40 acres and a mule and didn't give it to you. You know, the same people who are still enslaving you today by putting you in jail. Those people, that's who you trust. But you don't trust your brother, man. You don't trust action when he's sitting here trying to tell you who you are. I'm crazy because the white man don't agree with me. White men know who you are. You the idiot, yo, going against that. All right? So anyway, by way of current DNA testing, which promotes the lie of the OOA, the Out of Africa theory, and the land bridge that is their theorized connection to the Americas. There's no real evidence of a land bridge ever happening, all right? And I believe in flat Earth, and so there's a lot of crap going on and stuff. Because a lot of y'all believe in the global Earth too. Your ancestors didn't believe in that. If you believe, and if we practice the Hebrew religion, the Torah says that the Earth is flat and unmovable, and that there's a firmament above us, and there's waters above that, right? As above, so below, right? And, you know, so a lot of y'all Christians out here, y'all worshiping such fake idols, all right? That Jesus picture you got, that white dude, that's false. Go look up Russian Christian idols, black Russian Christian idols, and you'll be amazed that in Russian churches they have Jesus with an afro being black. But you sitting here worshiping Cesare Borgia, who the Pope Alexander, I think the 14th or whatever, or the 4th or whatever, Pope Alexander at that time in the 1400s, late 1400s, he had his son Cesare Borgia, the blonde-haired Spaniard, to be painted by Leonardo da Vinci as freaking as Jesus Christ, because they was whitewashing the black idols that was in there in Europe. And you could go to some European churches in Europe and go to back rooms and stuff like that and still see in some paintings that they didn't finish whitewashing. They're usually in the back somewhere. All right. So y'all don't know how special you are, all, man. It's really a fear of a black planet. And it's not even a fear of black planet to whites. It's a fear of black planet for y'all black people, man. All right. And also, just for those who don't understand, the so-called Out of Africa theory, or OOA, has nothing to do with the black American race being the origin of man, as the Afrocentric promises. The science community theory states that the first people in the continent of Africa was brown-skinned people, not black people. And I told you this in my in that video I did called "What is Black?" Right? I told you that there's different types of black people. See, y'all so caught into the Eurocentric theory of race, which is that they're black people, and all black people, no matter where they are in the world, they're from Africa. See, they try to put everybody on a continent. If you're black, you're from Africa. If you're yellow, you know what I'm saying, a mongoloid, you're from Asia. If you're white, you're from Europe. You know, and but America's the only continent where I guess the Asians that didn't have nobody on it. You gonna tell me two big ass continents didn't have nobody on it? Nobody on it. Y'all really believe that shit? Nobody on it until about 10,000 years ago during the fictitious ice age that nobody could really prove and shit. During the fictitious ice age, then a bunch of Asians, you know, Mongolian herders was following mammoths and shit across the Bering Strait into Alaska from Siberia, and then just started like seeding the whole goddamn two continents. Like that's just as retarded as having 300 people in a goddamn slave ship coming over the water. Just as retarded. I tell people all the time, how do you feed that many people? Look at Amistad when they was packing them people in there. They had no refrigeration. They had no way of keeping these people sanitized. They had no way of keeping these people for them to use the bathroom and crap. Then you couldn't take them all up at once to go use the bathroom, or they wasn't taking you out. They pissed and shit on each other. How the hell did they survive? What did they eat? They show you that they fed them like porridge or something like that. Even if you had grains on that damn ship, there's so much rats and birds that follow that damn ship around that they would have died off of the fucking scurvy and whatever the hell diseases would have been put in that crap. Traveling in them days on ship was it was a very dangerous job, even for the crew members. You didn't take a heavy crew. You took just enough freaking people. So to carry human cargo like that was ridiculous. Were there slaves brought from Africa? Yes. Because unfortunately, like the king of Dahomey, which is now Benin over there, he was selling when the Europeans ran when they didn't really have no need to buy as many goods from the Africans over there. They was trading with, because they was just trading with the Africans. They didn't go over to Africa to enslave them or whatever. They was trading with them for a lot of shit. And then you had a lot of these and there's a double story to Mansa Musa too. That I'm gonna get into, because everybody want to talk about Mansa Musa or whatever. I'm gonna tell you how he really got rich. But the king of Dahomey, you know what I'm saying, he was getting he was real good friends with like the king of France and the king of England. They was all like trying to because he was giving them the ivory and all this other stuff and resources and crap. When that shit started drying up, that's when he started selling their prisoners of war. When they was fighting with other tribes and expanding into the jungles, into other areas and stuff like that, he started selling off those prisoners of wars. First, he would sell off the prisoners of war. Then they just ransacked other villages from weaker tribes or whatever, and just ransacked them and brought them in there. So when white people say that the Africans sold themselves into slavery, they did. All right, and like this thing is saying right here, there was different types of blacks. If you look at the Sands people, which I'm gonna show you, they Africans in the Kalahari region, like what's that country over there, Tanzania, and like around Swaziland and South Africa and all of that. And even Nelson Mandela, a lot of them in the Zulus, they're like brown skin. Look at remember Serafina, pretty little brown skinned girl is African. That's not because she has white in them. Them white people and them Africans, they didn't mix with each other. Them Africans hate them. They didn't mix with them and shit. Just like, look at my skin color. I don't got no white relative anywhere in my family tree anytime recently. And the white gene is very recessive. It goes away. Barack Obama came out of a white womb, and he doesn't look nothing white. He looks unfortunately, he looks like an American Indian almost with his brown skin. But there's nothing white about him. The gene is very recessive. Unless your parent is white, there's a very hard chance that you would be a different skin color. So stop letting Eurocentric pseudo history dictate your life and who you are. All right. And again, like I told you, and the first people in the continent of Africa were brown skinned persons, not black people. All right, brown skin like us. Brown reddish. And I'll show you those people. They call it the Sands people. I'll show you a little bit later. That's the oldest tribe in Africa. And they look like us, and they grow hair like us. They have slanted eyes. Fact. Every race has its own creation story in their land of origin, and science only confirms what is already known. Even if the out of Africa theory was true for people overseas, it has nothing to do with the Americas or our people, because our origins are the Americas, the old world. Here, we are the evidence of this land. This is our land of creation. All right. Europeans created the out of Africa theory in the 1800s because they could not explain hundreds of millions of native red people living in the Americas before so-called Adam and Eve and Lucy. All right, they find older freaking bones, your ancestors here, and the mounds that y'all drive by every day thinking they just little stupid hills that some stupid Indians made, that you have nothing to do with, and they digging up your ancestors who was in them, and them mounds was magnificent structures and stuff, and they let them overgrow with grass and crap because they don't want you to know what they are. When they found the pyramids, they found a new pyramid in Mexico that's bigger than the Pyramid of the Sun or whatever, in the middle of the jungle. It looked like a hill. It had trees and everything growing over it because it's been covered. When them things are not taken care of, they're like the land reclaims it. It reclaims it and turns it into a hill. You think it's a hill, and you walk up it every day, and it's that third, and it's a goddamn pyramid with your ancestors in it. So that's why the mounds you see out in Ohio, and you see them out in the Mississippi Valley or whatever, like Monk's Hill or Monk's Mound or whatever. That ain't no damn mound. That's one of the biggest goddamn pyramids in the world, man. And it was beautiful and magnificent. And they just let grass grow over it because they found your bones in there and they don't want you to know that. Alright? Fact. The European makes up theories based on either religion or science, which both of y'all freaking you bow down to. You bow down to your false idol Jesus, Cesare Borgia. You bow down to, even though you read the Bible, go to Bible studies and all this other crap, and the Bible tells you what the earth is, because the Bible is based off the Torah, right? Especially the Old Testament. It's the Torah, and it tells you the earth is flat and immovable. It doesn't spin around and move. When you know the earth is the sun is moving. The earth is moving around the sun, right? And it's going through space, traveling, right? And we don't even know how the sun travels around, but we know it's moving. We're moving around it, right? But yet you see the same damn stars in the sky year after year. And the people, your ancestors, the people that came before you, all these ancients, they painted the sky, used the freaking what do you call it, astrology and stuff. You use the zodiac signs. The same stars is around. So I guess the same patterns of constellations all over the universe, right? It's the same like 12 zodiacs, you know, all over the universe. Because like I said, the sun is moving like this, right? Boom, boom, moving, right? We're flying around the sun as the sun is going this way, right? As the sun is going like this way or whatever, we're going around it. All the planets is going around it, right? And we're moving through space with it. But when you look up in the sky, you see the same damn stars. And it's the same stars they seen thousands of years ago. The same stars they seen a couple hundred years ago. You should be seeing different stars every couple of days in the sky, if not every day. Yet the North Star, the Polaris, it doesn't even move. It stays in there. You see what I'm saying? You believe everything people tell you. You don't research nothing, and then you look at people like me crazy when I tell you this. And none of y'all read books. Y'all don't. I know y'all don't. Y'all don't read books. This shit right here is boring to you. You know, so they based on either religion or science concerning our people and how we came to be in our land, the Americas. Exactly. How does the Chinese let Europeans tell them how they came? Huh? Do the Africans in Africa tell them, well, they do. They kind of do, because they colonized too, right? But no other group of people outside of us, you know, who are colonized or whatever, allow the people who have the least amount of history, don't even know where the hell they come from, deny where they come from, even though it's so goddamn evident and stuff. And then they try to like, you know, spruce that up. You never hear them digging up bones of a white person. They always assume everything is white, but then they like Cheddar Man. They thought that was white for the longest, and they just found out that Cheddar Man is black. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no bones in the ground, because by the time they came around, human society was already burying people in graves and stuff like that. That's how you know they're not that old. They're not old enough to be someone who was walking around and just died, and then they died and decayed in the land. That's like some ancient shit. That's before we started burying people and having concepts of burying people in graves or proper burial or mummification or all this other crap. You would just be old and sit down and die somewhere. Or you die because of the elements. They're not old enough to be in that situation. By the time they came around with the deformed asses, they was already burying people. So that's why you don't find no bones of ancient white people. And then they so goddamn, like, they so caught in their own funk that, let's say you do find a skeleton with red hair or whatever. Oh, that's gotta be a European. No, it doesn't. Because, especially with us Aborigines, we have every phenotype that's created on Earth. There are Aborigines with light skin and freckles and red skin. It's a form of ocitaneous albinism. You know, just like you when you have vitiligo, that's a form of osseous albinism. That's osseous albinism too. And having a very light yellow skin, like how we call high yellow, with freckles and red hair, that's osseous albinism 1, OCA 1, and then like I said, vitiligo is OCA 2. OCA 3 would be the true albino. You still have the black features, like the nose and everything else. You could tell you obviously that you're come from a melanated stock or whatever, but you're white completely. And they usually have they don't have to have blonde hair, but they usually have blonde hair, red hair, or very light brown hair or whatever, right? And then the last and most deadly one is Occitaneous albinism 4, which is which you would call like powder, because they typically have very pale white skin with what you call it, with like silverish or white hair, and they usually don't last that long. Again, fact. Out of Africa is a Eurocentric and even Afrocentric theory, because y'all bought onto it, and then your stupid handlers, your boulets and all of that, and your black masons, like Salnetta and all them idiots who know who the hell they are, or sovereign and all of this, and don't put down that they black, but tell you black. They tell you that. They relish in that out of Africa theory. Everybody's from Africa. You go, and then like I said, yeah, dumb people don't research and crap, but y'all get on here and argue with people from like Papua New Guinea, black people from Fiji and Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands. You'll go, oh, what's up, African brother, this and that third. And when they say they not African, you get all tight up. And what do you mean you're not African? All black people come from Africa. Matter of fact, all people come from Africa. No, they don't. Stop believing in that mess. We all came from, you believe we all came from Adam and Eve. So everybody in the world, all billions of us, we came from, no matter if you're Chinese, this, that, and third, and what you believe in your creation story, right? Because they believe in totally different creation stories in India. They must be wrong, though, because your Bible says you come from Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese and all of that, the Bible says they come from Adam and Eve or whatever, right? I even have a problem with that with the Torah. We were seated on every goddamn continent. And this is why I'm not overly religious. We were seated on every goddamn continent. All right? And y'all really believe that America was the only continent that for millions of years nobody lived on. No humans lived on. It's stupid. Eurocentric and even Afrocentric theory that we as Native American Indians have no business supporting or ignorantly promoting as truth, since we have creation stories in the Americas and not from overseas. DNA testing of our native people on a large scale is really up in the air unless actual connections are made to a known native relations in America who are recognized and known by our tribes or communities as Native American Indians, or a connection of North or South American Indian First Peoples. Fact. Theories are not facts, they're assumptions. Scientific theory is not the end result of a scientific method. Theories can be proven or rejected, like hypotheses, right? Test your blood and your family oral history and your known migration stories passed down from the creator to the ancestors, to you and me above the imperfections of science. None of our Indian blood people are immigrants in our own homeland, all right? I'm not gonna go into all of that crap right there. It just basically says, no matter if you're Mexican in Mexico, or you a Canadian, if you are Aboriginal, whatever, you shouldn't be, not allowed to travel, and that's the truth. You have the freedom of travel, all right? You need to stop it, all right? I don't know why it's so hard for y'all to get off of that. I know with the history of slavery here and stuff like that, y'all hurt. Y'all really butthurt about this land, and you don't want to care about this land, and that's the way it's been designed. Because your enemy knows you better than yourself. They know how goddamn emotional you are. So they keep throwing that shit in your face. But then you look over there at Africa and see how fucked up it is over there. That's where you want to go? You see what the people do to their own? That's where you want to go? You have no land there. You don't know where the hell you come from. You're just gonna pick any, meeny, miny, mo on the map, right? And just go there, right? When you're from Georgia, you're from South Carolina, and some of y'all from New York. Old Dirty Bastard told you. Old dirty bastards like great granddaddy was had the deed to the goddamn Manhattan. That's why they killed his ass. People been telling you for the longest who you are, but you listen to all this other shit. It's sickening, and that's why we a joke. That's why people laugh at us. You ever wonder why we harass the most? If we Africans, right? How come when Africans come over here, they don't get killed in cars by police? How many black, the only African I could think of was when Abdul Diallo got shot in New York. And believe me, after they did that shit, they made sure not to fuck with no African, because that man has a nationality. You have to respect people who got nationalities and stuff like that. And he has no connection to the land over here. So he's not their target and the intended target. They exterminating us. Not because they scared of us like that, because they not. But because they scared that they could lose their land if you knew who the fuck you were. You see what's going on in South Africa? That could be us. That could be us. Because they have treaties with us. That's up now. A lot of tribes you came from, they have treaties with that are up now. It's been 400 years and all this shit. And treaties is up and they have to leave. The Pope already already gave up the papal bull, which gave permission to enslave your ass and take your lands and take your dominion and put you under the dominion of Europe, royalty, and the Vatican. That's why everything's going crazy, but we can't do it because y'all want to be African, y'all want to be from Africa, and they're gonna tell your ass one day when this country collapses, all right, take your ass back to Africa, but no country's gonna take you in Africa. So you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna send you to Liberia, which is Little America in Africa. You can stay in Maryland in Africa. You can stay in Pennsylvania in Africa. They got nice little communities where from every state where they sent half of our ancestors before who became colonizers over there. So you're gonna end up in Liberia, Sierra Leone, being a goddamn slave in a land where there's nothing for you. Y'all better wake up, yo. On some real. Y'all better wake up. All right, here's a look. Onondaga, which is some Indian tribe in New York, like in northern New York or central New York, in that area, whatever. Look at her, copper color. I'm about to bring my face back around a little bit later. Hold on, matter of fact, let me just do that right now. But look at her. She almost looks a little bit like my grandmother. Right now, because of the lighting, she got flash on her. I'm about just a tone darker than her. She could be one of y'all grandmothers. She's copper colored, just like we are. A lot of us are. Even though we come in a lot of different skin tones. You could be high yellow and everything. Think about it. When you look at Asia, right? How diverse is Asia? Remember Borat, that movie? The Sacha Cohen Baron, whatever? From Kazakhstan? He looked like kind of like a Middle Eastern white dude, right? Like amalgamated, but they can pass as Europeans, right? Now look at Indians from India. In that country itself, they got from damn near white to like jet black almost. Matter of fact, the darkest humans in the world are I forgot the name. Damn, the Armenians. They live on an island off of India. They were like the Aborigines or a certain type of people there, the Indigos. Jet black, dark. They blue black, yo. Like when the sun hit their asses, they blue. All right, but look how, and then you got the Chinese, the Han Chinese, which is the majority population. They really Mongolians, who the Aboriginals built the Great War of China to prevent them from taking over. It wasn't built by the Han that's there. Those are the Mongolians they were trying to stop from invading. The first Chinese dynasties were black. Matter of fact, the names of the first Chinese dynasties are black, and means black in in their languages. What I'm trying to get at here is look how all those people right there, they all Asians. But here in America, we believe that all the people of this land look the same. They all look like some Asian, Mongol. They all basically Mongolians with a tan. If the Europeans ever come here, you have different nations. You would have had a few or one big nation on the East Coast, which would have been full of mostly black, what you would known as black, but black people, Indians, us red-colored Indians. In the Mississippi Valley, you would have had like a Washita Nation, which would have been some more, basically black Aboriginals like us. And then you would have had a couple of maybe smaller nations in the Arizona area and Utah area, like that desert part region, with some of these like Mongols, Asiatics, who really, I believe a lot of times they were actually Filipino and Chinese slaves brought to work the potteries and stuff in Mexico when that area was a part of New Spain before the Anglo-Americans took it over. And they were just abandoned, and for a couple of hundred years they were just running around wild before Manifest Destiny happened. And they adopted a lot of the Aboriginal customs and shit, because the Spanish would go through these areas and either kill off or enslave the black Aborigines who was there, like the Pimas. I just wanted to show you because this is an example of one Indian, and she's the clan mother, all right? And that could be anybody, any one of y'all grandmother. All of y'all have a light skinned family member, real high yellow. All right, y'all, check this out. It's painting of Inca kings in the Larco Museum in Lima, Peru. This is in Lima, Peru. All right, I ain't make this shit up. I bet you. So we, what some of y'all butthurt, Indians, or white folks are gonna say that this is Afrocentric crap. This is in Lima, Peru. What color are they? What do they look like? What kind of features they have? It's in Spanish and everything. It's old paintings. You can always tell what's the real and what's the phony too. You know what I'm saying? This is old. This is authentic. This is what the Incas look like. The Incas over there in Honduras and all of that. This is what they look like. So you got to ask yourself, who the hell are those people who could consider themselves descendants of Incas now? Who are those people? Who are they? I'm dead ass serious. Who are those people? Because they don't look like this. Now they consider themselves mestizos, which means mixed in Spanish. So they could be these people mixed with the Spanish, but they not these people. But you know what they do? They'll paint over a lot of this stuff because they're the majority population, and because they killed off a lot of the blacks, Aboriginals who was there. That now they don't want to admit that they came from this, and then they start making new paintings too. And this is under Moorish history or whatever. The Moors, man, come on, man. There's no history. There's no there's no fact here that you guys try to claim everything. All right, Moors came and traded here, Africans traded with us. We traded with them. We traded with the Moors, who are like pirates and stuff. Traveling around. But you're trying to amalgamate yourself to everybody's history. You conquered Europe. You're from North Africa. You're from Morocco, and then every black person who was an Aboriginal here is a goddamn Moor. So everything is Moorish history. It's not. And I was a part of Moorish Science Temple. Before that, I was a 5%er. But y'all guys try to put yourself in everything. It's one thing to teach this crap and say that y'all know this because y'all were trading here and y'all even settled posts here, but you're not the Aboriginals. Not every Aboriginal was Moorish or Moor. And y'all teach etymology. What does ISH mean? It means like, right? More like. Not even real Moors. More like. Okay, look at this. Mayans. These are the Mayans. What color are they? What do they look like? It's a fresco. That's a stew in Bonampak. I don't know what the hell that is. These are more Mayans. Look at them. What color are they? I guess I'm making this crap up, right? Homeboy has dreads right here, just like me. These are our ancestors. They didn't come from Africa. They're here. They always been here. Look at these. These are Mayans. To my West Indian brothers and sisters, where you think you get your dread culture from? The Mayans, you know, seeded the Caribbean too, and the Aztecs. Look at them. Look at your history. You don't see dreadlocks in Africa. Dreads. These are not light-skinned, brownish people. These people are copper colored, like me, my skin color. Have my hairstyle, my dreads. This is more Mayas. A bearded ruler has an audience with visitor wearing a bird headdress, accompanied by twin attendants, black wearing feather headdresses. Look at them. They have big ass noses too. Matter of fact, check out let me cut this off. Check out Lex Will. Nobody knows where the Aztecs are but me, or something like that. I'll try to leave a card there so you can see it. Maya. Look at this mammy right here. Look like Aunt Jemima. She wearing them head scarves that y'all black women here, so-called African American women, wear all the damn time. Look at your history. I'm not making this up. The stuff you could find in Mexico and in Central America. Some of them you can't find no more because they whitewash them. Here she go again. Look at them. You built the pyramids in Mexico. More Mayans. Look, the different colors. This one's dark as hell. He's not African. He's American. He's Amarucan. Look at his hair. Bushy hair. This dude has like dreads. It makes me want to cry because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't learn. I'll show you this all day. Look at this. Look, this is your people. You can see when they like scrape them down. Because you can see what original color they are. You see how they whitewashing them? They scrape them down. They peel it off to make them look light brown. This is what they doing. They erasing your history because you don't want it. And look, that headdress almost looks Egyptian. You know why? Because the real Egypt is here. They don't want you to know that though. Again, they like whitewashing him down because he look like he got vitiligo. And believe me, it's not because the painting is old. This is what they do. I'm not going to read all of this. For all you goddamn Black Panther deed writers, again, remember I taught you this? Teo, T, the H, here we go, hold on. Teo, Te, Wakan, like Wakanda. Teo, Te, Wakan. Look. They look like Egyptians, don't they? When I hide something from a black person, put it in the goddamn book. Put it in the museum. Teotihuacan. Spanish, they don't have the W. So the H-U-A makes a Y sound. Y. Teotihuacan. Is that Teote? Not T-O-T, Huka, or what? It's Teotihuacan. I'm half Puerto Rican. I know how to pronounce a lot of words in Spanish. It's Teotihuacan. You can look it up. There's a lot of Wakans and Wakandas and Wakandos in Mexico. Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Moon, the Pyramid of the Sun. You built these. And like I said, it's another pyramid that they just uncovered. And you see on the side, you see how there's grass on the side of it? Because when they thought this was just a hill. Look how immense this is. You see them people up there? You built this. Teotihuacan. Wakanda's here in America. I keep telling y'all this. Look at this. You all know the Aztecs. You know, we all got our Mexican homies. You know. Shout out to the Mexican homies. It's your ancestors right here. So when y'all in jail, like here in Arizona and California and shit, and y'all beefing with, you know, the American Aboriginal who are mistakenly called the African American, you know, those of us who hair grows like afros and stuff like that, but y'all call yourself Aztec pride and all of that, you've been lied to, unless you denying your history, because look at these people right here. They are Aboriginal, they are black, they have afros. These are the last of the Aztecs. Mexico got rid of a lot of them. Most of them were mixed into the mestizo population, and those who didn't, they were sent. A lot of them were sent to America to build the railroads. They brought Chinese over here, but they don't only tell you about the Chinese. Most of these railroads in the Southwest and all that was built by the Aztecs. And then when the Aztecs got done building them shits, a lot of them died while constructing this or whatever, and then their kids became African Americans. They mixed into our population. You see them big ass noses? Look at that schnoz. Just so you know, 19th century Aztec couple. A Mexican tribe now practically extinct. So a lot of them amalgamated mestizos who caused Aztec pride. These are your ancestors right here. And this is just the late 1800s. This is some of the last of them. Look at them afros. Matter of fact, homeboy almost resembles my dad a little bit. If it wasn't a black and white picture, you would see how brown skinned they are. But it's the hair. It's not that spiky Spanish hair that most of them walk around with. But they put gel in. This is Afro sheen hair. And here's one of my favorite pictures right here. This is Montezuma, the last king of the Aztecs. Me and him the same. Me and him skin folk, man. Skin folk and kinfolk. Look at him in all his glory. It's the last king of the Aztecs in Mexico. This is a Mexican, just like they are up there. The skin color is he? He didn't come from Africa. The fellas always tell you where you from. You can't debate these facts. This is where we're from. There's perpetrators pretending to be us while you're trying to be African. While the Africans and the Europeans are laughing at you. It goes a close-up of the African couples. I mean not African, I'm sorry. There's a close-up of the Aztec couple. Again, could be in your family. Look at them froze. And I hate calling them froze because they was called naturals. When we say Afro, it's funny because most of them dark-skinned Africans can't grow hair like this. Only Aboriginals, only copper-colored people, only those of us of this race, and not just American Indian. You find them in the islands of the Pacific. Look up people from the Solomon Islands. Look up people from Papua New Guinea. Look up people from Vanuatu and Fiji. They have froze. Then look up West Africans, and they all look like they have a fresh Caesar, even though they live in huts. Their hair don't grow that much. Wild hair is a trait of the original people. Look at them.
Here's an example of whitewashing, because Mexico does a lot of whitewashing. You think America is bad? Mexico is horrible when it comes to it. Mexico's black president. You think Barack Obama's the first president, black president of any place in the Americas? He's the first African, but he's not the first black or colored president. Mexico's second president and first and only black president, really Aboriginal Indian president, Vicente Guerrero. 10 August 1782 to 14 Feb 1831. He was a major military leader during Mexico's War for Independence. Just like in America, a lot of fucking Aboriginals, fought for the founding of these goddamn countries, even though we were enslaved and killed off. And in our case, paper genocide. Mexico's War for Independence, and as president ended slavery in his nation on September 15th, 1829. Here's how he looked. This is Vicente Guerrero. You see that fro? Curly fro? Naturally, the albinos have a fake painting depicting Vicente Guerrero as an albino. He's basically Mexico's Abraham Lincoln. Because there might be some of the truth to the fact that Abraham Lincoln might have been black and been whitewashed. Why do you think they put him on the copper-colored penny for? Which always had an Indian on it, but they put Lincoln on it. This is not Guerrero. This is what you would see if you look up Guerrero most of the damn time. You see how crazy shit is? This is how sad it is, people. But see, this is what you believe. You believe in what they want you to know, like out of Africa and all that shit. You want to believe in the white albino Guerrero. All right, this is your Jesus. This is your globe Earth. This is you from Africa, and all black people around the world came from Africa. Matter of fact, all people came from Africa, right? So you believe in Guerrero, while I believe in the real shit because I dig it up, I read, I find the real shit. And really, they saying that these portraits, get mulattoized them. So over the years, he just keep getting whiter and whiter. Cause you see, picture one where my face is at is a little bit blacker. His features a little bit blacker than a little more like the Aztecs would look or whatever. And then you see how his hair gets a little choppy, a little spiky and straight, and his nose is thinner, and his face is thinner, and the lips is kind of thinner. In the second picture, then you get this right here. And I don't know no Mexican that look like this, yo. That dude's straight up Spaniard. Going further south in South America, Incas. Inca nobleman and his sons. Look like Zulus, right? I just seen that Black Panther movie. They got them spears. They wasn't African though, cause you think they let the Africans come over here and make spears and dress all fancy and shit? No, these were not slaves, or at least yet. And when Columbus came here, this is what he seen: the gold. the earrings and stuff. See, you know these are our people because they fresh to death, yo. They like that gold, just like we got gold ropes around our neck and shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the 80s and the chains and the nose and the earrings and all that stuff. Yeah, that ain't nothing new, man. That ain't nothing new. Here's the making of mestizos. Okay. India, Saraña o Cafenado produce mestizo. And yo, the Spanish, some of them were really white, not all of them, yo. The majority of them were brown skin because of the Moorish fucking takeover, right? So yo, this is a modern painting. This is not really an old painting. A lot of this shit, especially in Latin America, is forced. You see how brown skin she is, copper color? That's true, but her hair wouldn't have been that straight, all right? She herself is a mestizo, and them two right there. You know, if he really had a kid with a full blood Indio, they wouldn't come out looking like that. Here's another making of a mestizo. In Español, yet India produce mestizo. Now you see her again, a little more accurate. The kid a little more brown and shit. And look how white this dude is. See, the Spanish, they like portraying themselves as extremely white, especially when they was here in America. But they was not this white. They were probably as brown skinned as most of the mestizos were. All right. But she is almost an accurate portrayal because, you know, she doesn't look like a Mongol. She looks like she could be my aunt. Alright, I'm going to leave it off here because this video is going to get extremely long. It's approaching the hour mark and stuff like that real soon. I know when I put these videos together. But remember how I told you a lot of these Spanish royals were, what you call it, Moorish, or like half Moor or whatever, or more brown skin, and how the Spanish were whitening them up, especially when they came into America. Well, here's Charles V, which in Spanish would be Carlos Quinto. This is him right here, the old picture. You always saw the old picture right here. This is the newer picture. All right. This is what Charlie wants you to know Charles V as now. You have to start questioning everything about your history. All right. I don't give much props to the Moors, but yo, this dude, he was. We know the Moors took over Spain around this time. They were still in rule. So this is what Charles, Quinto looked like. Carlos Quinto, Charles V. And this is Charles V, Carlos Quinto. Afterwards, negro, blanquito, blanco, negro, negrito, blanco, blanquito. Okay? So question your American paintings. If this is going on in Mexico, what do you think goes on in America? How do you know George Washington wasn't black? You know Washington's not an English name. Find me somebody in England with the last name Washington. Go ahead. Until next time, yo, it's action, yo. Do your homework.